Yeah. Hello. Hi. Welcome back to the Midnight Memo. I'm Claire.
I'm Kristen.
And thanks for joining us tonight, or in the morning, or in the afternoon, whenever you're listening to this or watching this. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So
we've gathered you all here today.
Yes, thank you for joining us. I feel like we've been on been talking a lot about relationships.
This is true.
I don't know if this question has been tossed around before as an idea, but then we didn't actually talk about it. But like, Can you be friends with your ex? Like, have you lost a friend because friendship turned into having feelings? Things like that. And I think that this would be an interesting topic to talk about. Not fun topic.
No, not
se,
fun.
But I want to know your thoughts.
Okay. Oh, I have so many stories on this. The thing is like, I think a good portion of people I like to either idealize or say it is their ideal to, before they start dating someone, have a friendship and then builds off that to build into the relationship, right? Which, that's how I feel. I feel like it does foster a nice relationship. Yeah. But exactly what you're saying, if the feelings aren't there, then
that's all.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like when you have that type of friendship and it can go 50-50 if it's going to take the relationship and it'll blossom into a beautiful relationship, that's the ideal, or not. And I've had both. Actually, my current boyfriend, we were friends first for, oh my gosh, almost a year, 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
Before we were like, Everyone else says they saw it first, which I call bullshit. All these I'm looking at you bitches because I know you're watching this. You're all fucking liars because I didn't even know I liked the bitch, so you can't tell me you know I like the bitch.
What she said?
Bullshit. There's literally
I call bullshit.
Like, yes, I thought he was cute, but like that was literally where it ended. At the beginning, blossomed into a nice relationship, but at the beginning it was just like, he's cute, cool.
Neat.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, you're really cute. Neat.
Your face. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Your face. I like that shit. And that was it. But my friends will swear up and like our mutual friend group will swear up and down that they knew, the ones who knew both of us at least. They were like, they will swear up and down. They're like, we knew. It was destined from the beginning. And I'm like, that's a lovely thought. I would love to think that, but like, let's call a spade here.
Yeah.
It wasn't looking like that. So that worked out nice, but I've had other relationships where it's started as friendships, especially in middle school. Did you ever notice that? Did it happen to you a lot in middle school? Because to me, it was so chronic in middle school, where it's like you would have friends that people start liking each other, and then it turns into like to that weird like drama where like someone weird dating, or not dating, but like crush triangles and blah, blah, blah.
I will say I did not experience a love triangle in middle school.
Really?
No, a girl was not prioritizing boys at all.
That's fair.
So
yeah, she's very independent.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go on the monkey bars and.
It's so romantic. What do you mean? I had 2 boyfriends in preschool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Started young.
She could finesse. I think elementary school there was more like weird the crush triangles that I was just talking about. Were like, especially there was always like one person in. Okay, again, I went to like really small schools and stuff like that, so there was always just like one boy that just was objectively adorable. So then literally everyone, like all the girls in the grade, or like at least all the girls in your class, and like even more so like your close girlfriends, would all think this boy is cute. So then it becomes that weird thing of like, who is and you don't, girl code, you never want to step on anyone's toes, blah, 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 blah. And then it really ultimately becomes up to him to be like, who is he actually interested in? And then it creates this whole petty thing.
Yeah.
The weirdest situation I've had of like falling for a friend though was probably in middle school. My best friend at the time, it was kind of a situation of like, I like you, but like, is this friendship like? Is this relationship like? Like trying to first decipher this, that as a whole.
Yeah.
And then again,
which sometimes it can be hard, where you're like, I actually don't know if like I feel have romantic feelings, or just like you're a cool person, I want to spend time with you.
Absolutely. And especially like, again, going back to the topic of like, a good relationship, romantic relationship is founded on also that person being your partner and almost like a best friend, which is why a lot of people will idealize the idea of starting as a friendship and then moving into a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
So it's when you start in that friendship phase, I think that's why it's hard to tell. It's like, okay, is this romantic or just like, strong bond with this person as a person? So trying to decipher that, again, same situation of kind of, we had mutual friends and they were all like, oh yeah, they totally like you, blah, blah, blah. And so, because it's middle school, you're all talking, whatever, drama, bleh. And so I feel like that obviously influenced my ideas, my feelings. I would say this to his face now, and he would 1,000% say this to my face as well, that I don't think we knew if we liked each other, but we were just like that tight, and everyone was kind of just like shipping it, that we were like, so like we tried to date.
Okay.
Like he tried to ask me out again through middle school, so he asked our mutual friends to ask me out. Yeah.
Dude, even in middle school, come on.
It was middle school. Like, I'll give him that grace. Well, okay, in his defense, I responded through our friends because I was like,
Kristen?
That's why you're asking me. I'm not gonna go up to your face. Like, he asked, we had a whole group, we'd eat lunch together, and then we're all eating lunch together one day, and then he just like gets up and leaves all of a sudden, and I was just like, okay, that was sus, whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone scoots in closer to me, and they're like, so he asked us to talk to you.
I can't.
It was so, it's middle school.
I
Come
know.
on.
I know.
Cringy as hell. It was so
good.
cringy.
It's good.
I thought it was cringy then, and even more so looking back on it, it's worse now. So they all slide in, and they're like, so Kristen, he asked us to talk to you, and he wants to know if you like him. And I was like, I mean, these are like your girlfriends asking you, right? So you're like, I mean, like, yeah, he's a great person. Again, still didn't know what I wanted. So they were like, well, I think you guys should date, and he would want to date you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I guess. And then they're like, okay, perfect, we're going to tell him. And I was like, I don't know what's happening.
Like,
so then,
cool, yeah.
So then we were dating that way, supposedly. And that relationship lasted a whopping 24 hours.
Damn. Kim Kardashian got you beat on that one.
Literally, because it was too weird. It was way too weird. We had too many people influencing it in it. Mm-hmm. And I love him, so I can say this. I'm pretty sure he only liked me because I was his beard. When we get to high school, we find out he was not interested in women.
I see.
So it definitely was that situation of like, we loved each other as people. Like, we both thought each other were just like so cool. There was no romantic relationship there, obviously.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, after he asked me out through our friends, I literally did not see him for the rest of the day. Get to school the next day. Literally, he avoided me like the plague. He was terrified. No. He was terrified. And
yeah,
I understand.
I get it, yeah.
I understand. But I was just like, so I'm the next morning walking around school, got to school early, walking around with my girlfriend, and I'm talking to one of them. And I was like, I haven't seen him all day. And that's weird because I talk to him, like, we're like this usually. Like, I see him. We don't have a lot of classes together, but I will see him in between every class usually. Yeah. And I did not see him for the rest of the afternoon and haven't heard from him. Mm-hmm. And he comes up behind me out of nowhere.
He's like, we need to talk.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, no.
Well, actually, he didn't even say that. He just word vomits. I don't even remember how he started it. But the ending was basically, I think we would be better off as friends. Okay. And he books it the other way. And I was like, okay. I mean, I was thinking the same thing considering you haven't seen me for like 24 hours now, but so that was my shortest relationship.
Yeah. Asked you out through your friends. Ghosts you for
24 hours.
Like, we should be friends.
And then ambushes me while I'm literally talking to my girlfriend being like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is going to work. Basically, I was coming to the same conclusion he was, but working it out with my girlfriend, and he just was like, got to get in there first. So, I mean, it was very awkward for the next few weeks, but then we got over it, and we were able to still be friends because we acknowledged we're like, that was weird. That was weird. We shouldn't have done that.
Well, at least you were friends afterwards. Yeah. You like maintained the friendship.
Yeah, I mean, it was still
an awkward stage.
It was still kind of weird after that, and that's I think more because he was working out where he's at. Mm-hmm. By the time we got to high school, he was able to realize it. He came out, and it was very beautiful. We had, that's when we were like, okay, like now I see why.
Yeah,
and we're all good, and like so there was other factors in there for sure. So yeah, but it was weird in that in between for a little bit, but for much larger issues then.
Yeah, I would say that there's a blatant like
there's a large
reason.
Factor. Yeah. But I think that's the only time I've ever been friends with an ex, honestly.
Do you think like, okay, because I'm not friends with any of my exes.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I am either.
But do you think like, what are your thoughts on being friends with your ex?
Listen, I think how you end it definitely plays a factor into it. I will say that I think almost all of my past relationships have ended in turmoil. So it does make sense why we're not friends.
Yeah.
But I think if you end in a relatively good state, I think it's a lot easier to be friends after that. But I don't think it's going to be easy. I think each as people need to work through the fact that you broke up. And if you try to be friends afterwards, it prolongs the breakup in some sense because you'll try to maintain your relationship as it was, and it's not the same because now you're broken up, and it'll somehow, some way, someone's gonna misinterpret it or recatch feelings, think that it can work it out, and it just, if you try to be friends right after, you muddy the water of like, now we're broken up, and I think it just makes it harder to detangle and process the grieving of the end of that relationship romantically.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think it's like,
tell me.
I think in the beginning or in my first few relationships when I broke up with that person, I was like, hey, like if you want to still be friends, whatever. But I thought it was because I was being mature. No, I think it was.
You were trying to let it down easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to let them down easy. Try to prove that I was like mature in some way. And I was like,
it sounds like, especially when we're younger, like dealing with those relationships, I feel like I also would have interpreted it that way at that time. But now I'm like, no. Like, if I were to look at younger me doing that, I'd be like, no, you're just being messy. Don't do that.
Yeah, like, just stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, and another thing is, it depends. I think it was easier for me to not be friends with them because we weren't friends to begin with. Okay, like, the relationships I'm referring to is, like, our relationship in general, non-romantic or romantic, like, it was on a date. Like, we didn't meet beforehand, create a friendship to then get into a relationship to break up and then try to maintain a friendship. Like, it wasn't that. And I think that
we have very different styles of dating.
Yeah. And I think that, like, why would I want to be friends with you if we were never friends to begin with?
No, I think that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. So that was, like, my logic. The only person that I was friends with before dating was
your college boyfriend.
Yes. And then, like,
that was 4 years of pent up. That was if you put a college filter over a middle school relationship, because we were all involved. Think about that.
Yeah.
You had triangles. Unintentionally, but triangles.
Yeah, I realize that now.
She was trying to judge my middle school relationships. I had it at a reasonable time.
I still am.
I mean, fair, but I have
let the record show. I'm still very judgmental.
Listen, me too. But, like, I recognize that was middle school cringe. Like, we can put that in a nice bow and file it under middle school. You know,
just put it over there in the box to the left.
Exactly.
We're using code names. We had a friend,
after like
Kathy.
5 minutes, I'm trying to figure out code names. Anyway.
Yes. So we have a mutual friend, Kathy, who had a friend, Michelle.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Now I see where you're painting. Yep.
Who was dating my college boyfriend before me. Yep. And I had a crush on my college boyfriend for a couple of years.
Yeah, like from freshman year.
Yeah, we were friends-ish, acquaintances, because we lived in the same building or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like, it took us 2 or 3 years to actually go out.
You want to talk about a middle school relationship? Okay, it took these bitches years.
Years
to get one of them to admit that they liked the other. And then another year to get the other bitch to admit that they liked the other person.
I admitted that, like, I had a crush on him probably sophomore year.
Because I think it was when they were abroad.
Yeah. Or something.
It was when it was when we were sophomores, because they were abroad, and then that's when they started dating, because they both went abroad together.
See, I don't even remember.
I remember. I was invested in Claire's ex. Because this was like writing out, like, now that I say a middle school drama, but, like, in the moment I was like, oh my god, this is like every rom-com ever. But just like the idea of, like, just like never being on the same page, because, like, you admitted it, and then we're like, oh, okay, when he comes back, and then he comes back and he's like, hi guys, meet my girlfriend, and we were like, because
this is awkward.
Yeah, because you were gonna tell him when he got back.
Yeah.
And then he came back with it. It's literally that episode of Friends when Rachel's gonna tell Ross, and he comes back with Julie. That was you.
Yeah.
You were Rachel.
I was Rachel.
You were Rachel.
And
Michelle was Julie.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So they went. What should his name be? Nathan. Oh, Nathan. Okay. So Nathan and Michelle met abroad the year that, like, I finally admitted that, like, okay, I like him.
After me, literally, like, interrogating you for 2 years.
Yeah. And then he came back with Michelle, and they're like, oh, we're dating. And I was like, cool. I'm so happy for you guys. This is super great. Yeah.
Guess who's leading the date? Julie.
Can you? Just the voice keeps going up.
The chicken pooped on her head, or whatever the fuck their story was. Can you tell I've internalized this for a very long time?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm, like, just remembering all this. Like, I didn't remember all
You're
this.
You're rehashing this.
Yeah. So then after, I guess, they came back, they're now in a relationship. I was like, okay, like, it's fine. I'll just be friends with him. I'm not going to tell him anything yet. And then there are two friends of ours who were basically, when Michelle and Nathan started not feeling it, they're like, we're trying to, like...
They literally were like, insert for Claire, and they were low-key not talking her down, because they would never do that, but, like, every time Nathan voiced, like, I don't know, they're like, you should follow your gut, buddy. Like,
yeah.
They were just, like, edging him to, like, into his hesitations, basically.
Yeah. So I think that after they broke up, our couple of friends were still like, hey, maybe you should go out with, like, Claire.
Hey,
like,
Claire's so funny.
Yeah.
Like,
and so
they were hyping you up so much, which we love that. We love women supporting women, but it was like being on the outside watching it. It was so juvenile.
It was. Yeah.
But I love it.
Hello. If you're hearing this, that means we have found a break in our trains of thought. I know. Kind of crazy. Like, our podcast isn't chaotic or something like that. Anyway, this week we have a sponsor for this episode, and our sponsor is Newsly. And you're probably wondering, what is Newsly? Well, Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. So you can stop scrolling and start listening. You can follow any topic as specific as you'd want, from sports to business to Bitcoin or even the Kardashians. And they have podcasts as well. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. Our podcast, The Midnight Memo, will be there too. Make sure to check them out, download and use Newsly for free now from www.newsly.me or from the link we have down in our description. You can also use the promo code TMM for 1 month of free premium subscription. That is right. So make sure to go check us out on the Newsly app. You will not regret it. And now back to the podcast. So then, right after they broke up, I got into a relationship the following summer with someone I met in my internship.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I was with them. And so at that time,
I think over the summer, if I'm remembering correct too, he finally admitted that he had a crush on you to them.
I think so.
Somehow, but somehow it was like, it was finally, like everyone saw it. This time we did see it. Like this was for real. Not like my friends. And then he finally like admitted it or something like that. It was like this whole like, oh, finally. And then you come back from summer and you're like, hi guys, meet my boyfriend. And I wanted to rip my hair out by the roots. Yeah. I swear to God.
Honestly, I don't really know what Summer Claire was doing.
Summer Claire was wilded.
Yeah, that one was really fast. Like to the point where I laugh at it now. I'm like, why would, what? Like, what were you thinking? Yeah. Because we decided to make like it official like a week before our internship ended. And he doesn't live where I live.
Yeah, it was going to be long distance.
Yeah, I'm like, on what foundation are you building? Like, this is just
hey, for some people it works. Some people it works. For you, it did not.
No, if you guys know me, that's not how I roll usually, so I don't really know why I thought it would be a good idea. But yeah, long distance was not a girl's best friend that year.
Not a girl's best friend.
So after I broke up with him in October-ish, I think we went on winter break, and I can't remember if it was right before winter break or right when we came back from winter break. That Nathan and we decided that we would like go on a walk. So
the walk, the iconic walk. You guys went for a long ass walk too. Like you did the whole trail, I think, right? Or something like that. Like you were gone for a while, and I was like, how did you not die of frostbite? Because it was fucking cold. It was like midwinter. Like you were going through it anyways.
It was very cold. It was a bit brisk outside, you could say.
It was frigid in these parts.
Yes, one could say that, perhaps.
I am one.
Oh my gosh. And I think that's when we actually admitted that we wanted to go out and date one another.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we dated some amount of time.
I think a semester?
In senior year, something like that.
Yeah.
And then he was gonna stay in the same state, and I was moving away. So we tried to make long distance work, one didn't work out. And so this is one relationship where even though we were friends to begin with,
for 3 years before this now.
Yeah. It wasn't me this time who was like, we should stay friends or anything like this. It was him being like, I cannot be your friend. And then like completely blocking me out of everything.
When he said that, was it proposed before that you guys would try to be friends? Or like while in the conversation of breaking up that he was like, okay, but I can't be your friend after this?
Yeah, it was like in the conversation. Okay. So when we were talking and like breaking up, he was literally like, I can't be your friend. Like, I will not talk to you. I will have no contact with you. But I was shocked.
And I remember when you were saying the thing about how he didn't want to be your friend after, you were like really offended by that. Which, fair. When you hear someone tell you, I don't want to be your friend, it's going to fucking sting.
Yeah.
So that was fair.
Yeah. And I was trying to logic through it. I mean, it makes sense though. Like, if you've just gotten broken up with, you're like, I'm not going to be your friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, totally understand. Which, like, now being more mature looking back on it, I'm like, Claire, why were you trying to, like,
break up with this man and then be like
nice about the breakup?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be with you, but we can be friends. Like, I understand that he would need some time or whatever.
To process that.
Yeah. But that is an instance where, like, I guess it's kind of like a mixture of, like, can you be friends with your ex? Apparently not. And have you lost a friend after catching feelings? Yes.
Okay. That was going to be my next question is, like, where are we at now with Nathan?
Guys, this had a resurgence, right? So me and Nathan.
Recently?
No, not recently.
But after.
Okay. Me and Nathan, no contact for 2 years, whatever. Respect his wishes. If he doesn't want to have contact with me, whatever helps your healing process.
Yeah, don't push it.
Yeah. But then one of our friends got married, and Nathan was at the same table.
The friend who was talking you up to Nathan, too.
Yeah. And so this was a year, 2 years after college.
Yeah, 2 years ago, 2 years after college.
Yeah. So all of us, like, coming back. And at this point, it'd been 1.5, almost 2 years since we'd even talked. And so I was like, I don't know about you. I think 2 years is a good cooling down period after a breakup.
But that was also the first time he saw you. You guys had never seen each other since.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just in his defense.
In his defense. But like, he was so fucking awkward.
It was very awkward. Yeah, you were so mad, and I felt really bad for you because it was. Because I'm like, it was awkward as hell too.
Yeah, I'm like, have the decency to not make it awkward for everyone else who's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in his mind, this was the first time we were seeing each other, but I was just like, there to support my friend who's getting married, have a good time. Yeah. And he avoided me like the plague. Like, and you guys didn't look at me, didn't talk to me. We sat at the same table, so it's not like
right across from each other.
Yeah, it's not like you could hide it. Yeah. Like if we're all talking, he's directly ignoring me, and I'm like, bitch, what? Yeah. And I was asking around too, where I was like, are you? I think I asked you. I think I asked. Yeah. Someone else was like, can you tell that he's just like completely ignoring me? And then she's like, no, definitely. Like he's completely avoiding you. And so I like pulled him. I either texted him after that. I think I texted him. I didn't pull him over at the wedding.
I was going to say, I didn't see you go to talk to him. But okay.
Yeah. No, I was like, hey, why were you being such an asshole, basically?
Yikes, really?
Yeah, because I'm like, it's been 2 years. Yeah. And it was to the point where I thought I had offended him in some way.
Yeah, like further than just.
Yeah, so I'm like, did I do anything? Like, do I need to like own up to anything that I've done in the past, or like what's going on?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, like I wanted to respect your feelings and like not talk to you. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that felt really weird.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not it. Anyway.
Yeah.
So because of that wedding, we were just on the same page. Nothing. Yeah. There's no bad vibes behind
able to smooth it over a little more. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And so we text on and off after that, just like kind of rekindled the friendship.
That's
good.
And
so this is when I was still living in California. Then I moved up to Washington, where he lives in Washington still. Mm-hmm. And so when I first moved up, I was like just trying to reach out to everyone, say like, hey, do you want to hang out? Hey, do you want to hang out? Now this is a question where, can guys and girls just be friends?
Tell me, Claire. Why would you ask that?
This guy's just like hitting all the bases, just all the questions.
All the talking points, Nathan.
Yeah, literally. Because I came back with zero intent of rekindling a relationship, rekindling anything, like a romantic relationship.
Pause. Did you reach out to Nathan? And when you're saying you reached out to friends and stuff like that who still lived in Washington, and you're like, hey, do you want to hang out, blah, blah, blah. Did you reach out to Nathan at that point? Like, was he on the list of your like, oh, reach out to people to see? Okay. Just want to know where the
at this point
friendship is at this point.
Yeah, we've been texting on and off, just like staying connected as friends, but like in anticipation of like getting or talking and kind of seeing each other in person, hanging out. I like laid out, as I do, that I'm not looking for anything romantic. Like
you said this to Nathan. Okay.
I was like, I just am looking for friends, strictly friends. He was like, oh yeah, okay, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, and so after that we like grabbed lunch. I want to make this clear. This is the second interaction I've had with him
in like 3 years.
Yeah. So we grabbed lunch. Then he's like, yeah, my brother's getting married. Do you want to be my date to the wedding? Yep. I was like, no.
I feel like it would have been one thing if he invited, still a weird question to ask your ex. But it would have been one thing if he was asking you to go to a wedding of like a coworker, a wedding of maybe like a distant friend, acquaintance, like an elementary school friend that like he hasn't talked to since elementary school, but for some reason he got invited to, not like a close elementary school, like someone who there's not a very emotional bond where he's like directly knows where he like directly knows the people actually getting married. It's not like he's just like floating in the bubble of like people who should be invited to this wedding.
Yeah, I'm like, this is
his brother's
brother
wedding,
and like your whole family is gonna be there.
Exactly.
And I bet they don't like me because last time they heard about me, I broke your heart. Yep. So
I will say there's one. Actually, okay, I don't know for sure, right? But I had a really good. Now gonna take a side tangent, make it about me. Sorry, but there was, because I also thought this was really weird. There was one of my exes when we broke up. It was tough, whatever, and we weren't able to stay friends afterwards. But I adored his family. I was able to meet his family. I adored his family, but I figured when we break up, that's broken up with, right? And it's not like I kept really close contact with his family either. I usually talked about either to his family or about his family, like through him, because that was his family. But I guess, and maybe this is me being delusional, but I guess they adored me enough or something, because even at graduation they came up to me and they found me and they were like, oh my god, we're so proud of you, blah 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 blah, like had a beautiful moment with them and like talked with his stepmom, who I absolutely adore, and like had a whole thing with her. I think even after we broke up, they texted me, the stepmom texted me and was like, hey, I know like this didn't work out, like you guys are broken up, but just know like we still love you, you're in our hearts, blah 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 blah. Like it made me cry. It was like a very sweet, like, not like you're cut off, but like I understand there's not as much of a strong, like, there's no real reason, I guess, for this relationship, but like, just know that we still love you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then, they came up to me like at graduation too, and we're like, we love and adore you, we're so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. It was a little thing, and I was like, it was super cute, but I was like, huh? Like, it did feel a little random. I loved and appreciated it, but it was very, like, half of me was like in love with this moment, and the other half of me was like, what dimension am I in? Because I would have never expected that to happen. But anyways.
Yeah, it's
of like trying to
weird.
Like how family will play in depending on the relationship, if you get to the point of like meeting the family too, right? Like, or if they just hear about you, you don't know how they're going to interpret your breakup, because sometimes, especially if you're in a long enough term relationship where like the family gets involved too, and a breakup like that, because you're also breaking up with the family, like how that plays out is a whole nother type of dynamic.
And like the only time I had met the family was at graduation when we were still in a relationship. And so
you had met them.
I had met them very briefly.
Sure, right.
And like Nathan had gone to a graduation lunch with my family, so he met my family briefly. But so I was kind of jumping back, I guess, to the 4 years later, or
3 years
later, after he asked me to be his date to his brother's wedding. And I'm like, you want me to be in family wedding photos for years, and knowing that
of your brother's wedding, like those are gonna be his, like, one of the probably one of the happiest moments of his life. He's gonna look back on these pictures all the time, and of course he's gonna want to see his brother alongside him in those pictures, and his ex-girlfriend. I was like, and then in my head I'm like, am I just gonna be on the end of every picture so you can just cut me out when you need to? Which fair. At that point, if you went along with it. Crazy
so
enough.
I was just like, no, I'm not gonna be your date. And I was like, why would, and out of curiosity, like, I didn't mean this in a mean way, but I was like, why would you ask me to be your date? And then he was like, well, I like still have feelings for you, all this stuff. Okay, no! 3 years later, and I was like, I'm not interested. And I stated this to you when I first got together with you, like literally purely just for friendship, because in my opinion, guys and girls can be friends. You think they can? I think they can. Okay. We need to pin in that. I want to circle back to that later, but continue. But apparently in this case, this is not the case. So you've never had you've never had a friendship after a relationship, but you think that people can? Yeah, I think that they can, if dependent on how they broke up, dependent on how they got together. Again, like if you weren't friends before the relationship, there's really no reason to be friends afterwards, unless like you're both on the same page. I mean, there's so many corner cases, right, where this works out, but yeah, I was like, no. And then like right after I said no, he like immediately switched up and he's like, oh, I can't see you anymore. Like again. I mean, I get it, because in his mind it feels like you broke up with him again. And I understand the reasoning for him not wanting to be friends, but I was like, bro, I tried my best not to lead him on. I was very clear with my intentions. I was like, I'm not interested. I literally just moved here, connecting with like a bunch of college friends. Like it's not since rejecting going to his brother's wedding. Have you talked to him since? No. That's fair. That's very fair. I still think guys and girls can be friends, because I have a lot of guy friends that we have no interest in one another. But I don't think that's the issue. What's the issue? Okay, listen. I'm gonna, in adult terms, you can't be friends with someone you saw naked. Like, think about it that way. Like, you saw them in all their glory, and you're gonna be like, bud. You know? Like, you're suddenly just gonna take it down like that? You think you can? I don't know. I mean, I'm wired weirdly, I guess. I think, I think it could be possible, maybe, but I think it requires so much. It's so hard. I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe. So do you think some ways guys and girls can be friends? I go back and forth. I want to believe so, but I know I just argued against this, but it's like I would like to believe so but like you said, a lot of corner cases, like where you were friends before, so that way it's worth having a friendship afterwards. The relationship dies due to natural causes, whatever that, you know, age, natural cause, and so there's it ends in a way where there's not so many hard feelings. Both people take time apart and heal in their own ways. I think also having a mutual group of friends in the middle really plays a factor to this of how that'll work out. Okay. Because in the sense that they can make it go really well or really bad. Like if you have a mutual group of friends and when two people break up in the friend group, I think 9 out of 10 times, guessing statistic, no one come take me down could be like, that's not right, whatever. Anyways, like 9 out of 10 times people are gonna choose sides, whether they need to or not, because that happened with me when I broke up with my college boyfriend. We agreed between ourselves that we were gonna figure it out. We were like,
tell who you want to tell, whatever happens, but we don't want to make it awkward was the goal.
Yeah.
And ultimately, people that we told decided to make it awkward and felt the need to choose sides. And then that made it really hard. And it made it really awkward to the point where even you and I were having like a whole thing, kind of, because you were getting caught in the middle of it too. I felt like.
Oh, I was caught in the middle a little bit because once I started dating Nathan, this is Nathan's best friend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I broke up with Nathan's best friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was, and it's tough. If, two people are dating in a friend group and then they break up, how the friend group handles that plays a key role, I think, into how those people can be friends. Because like in my eyes, I was like, oh, all of my friends hate me now. And it's like also soured how I thought about even like being friends with the friend group too. I was like, oh, should I just hightail it out of here and make new friends in junior, senior year? Like that sort of a thing. Like, oh, how do you handle that? And if the friend group handles it well, in the sense of like they still try to include both people, and that's still hard to do it that way too. But I don't disagree guys and girls can be friends. I don't disagree with that. I think it's the after the relationship part. Or like any two people, like after a relationship, I think it takes, there's so many factors. Like I feel like there's a higher chance of it not working out.
Yeah, but like take the relationship out of it, right? Like if you have you ever had just like a guy friend?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, like the one you just mentioned. Like I have a handful of them.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like most of the girls are like, yes, guys and girls can be friends, whatever.
Yeah,
but then you
ask
guys, and guys are like,
no.
Like,
I think the guys who say no to that are those guys. Like the same people who say no, guys and girls can't be friends are the people who only enter relationships with females with the intention of dating them or less romantically dating them.
Yeah.
So there's the people who get it, the people who don't, you know?
Fair.
So I think that's what it ultimately boils down to.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think overall, final decision, guys and girls can be friends.
Yeah. But can they be friends after a breakup? I think it's so low. I would like to.
From previous experience, I would say no.
In an ideal world, I would love to believe that. But I think there has a lot of, especially when they're friends beforehand, like there's a lot of factors and other people playing into the messiness of the relationship and how that plays out into settling to a point where we detangle the romantic relationship from the friendship.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more things that can go wrong than can go right at that point.
Yeah, and I think with age,
at the right age of 25.
Yeah, at the right age of 25, I've just learned that like, yeah, if you weren't friends before, you're not gonna be friends after, and it's just like
I think you could, but it'd be very
rare.
hard.
Yeah, and it's hard, and trying to say like, oh, let's stay friends, let's whatever.
Learn from Claire. Don't do it as you're breaking up with the person.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I don't know what like. I was trying to be mature.
Yeah, I get why you thought it was mature. But hindsight being 2020, we recognize, we realize you can't tell someone in the same breath that you're like, I don't like you romantically, but I could be your friend.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out.
Especially, depending on how long you've actually been going out.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a factor.
Yeah, considering we've been going out for like 6+ months at that point of the breakup or whatever.
Something like that.
Not last week's episode where I'd been on a total of only 2 dates. It was a total of like 7 hours of talking to him.
I know. People were hella pressed about it, like you not giving this man your attention after 2 dates. Like, male internet was not happy with that, and that was crazy.
It's okay. I don't live to impress them by any means. So.
Yeah, whoever's in charge of like the internet algorithms, can you get us on the female side of the
internet?
Because there's like 70% of our viewers are men, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the men, but I feel like a lot of our
disrespect.
I feel like a lot of our material usually isn't targeted towards them, and then they'll just pop up on our like reels, which take our shticks out of context, and then they'll get hella pressed about it, and I'm like,
yeah,
sir.
Well, thanks for sticking around and listening to all of our
whatever that was.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like a venting session.
It really was a venting session. Very cathartic.
Let us know in the comments. Can guys and girls be friends? One. Can you stay friends with your ex, or should you stay friends with your ex? Mm-hmm. And have you ever lost a friendship due to like one person gaining feelings for the other? Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for listening to the Midnight Memo. Be sure to like and subscribe this. Well, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the channel so that way you can see our next episode next Wednesday. If you are listening to us on various podcasting platforms, please don't forget to follow and subscribe to the podcast so that way you can be notified when our next episode drops next Tuesday. And Claire will do her favorite part, which is talking about our reviews.
Yeah, guys, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify because it would like super help us out. Yeah, all of our promo codes for the Newsly app are down in the description as well. So check those out. And we will see you next week.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Bye.